A thunderstorm raged over the sprawling Blackthorn Manor as 5 friends gathered in the dimly lit parlor. The air inside felt damp, heavy with the weight of secrets long buried. Outside, lightning illuminated the jagged silhouette of the ancient estate. "This place gives me the creeps," muttered Evelyn, brushing a strand of blonde hair from her face. Her voice echoed softly in the cavernous room. She glanced nervously at the others. Lucas, the skeptic with sharp green eyes. Ivy, whose curiosity always led her into trouble. Damien, the brooding artist, and Claire, the quiet one with a knack for uncovering hidden truths. "Come on, Evie," Lucas said, rolling his eyes. "It's just an old house." Damien's gaze lingered on a painting above the fireplace, depicting a woman in Victorian attire with piercing eyes that seemed to follow them. "Do you think the stories are true? About the family and the ritual?" "Only one way to find out," Ivy said with a mischievous grin. She reached into her backpack and pulled out a tattered book bound in cracked leather. The title, etched in faded gold, read The Summoner's Grimoire. Claire's eyes widened. "Where did you get that?" "An estate sale. Supposedly, it's from this house," Ivy replied. "Let's do it. Let's summon the spirits." Evelyn shook her head. "I'm not sure this is a good idea." Lucas laughed. "It'll be a good story to tell later." Against her better judgment, Evelyn joined the others as they sat in a circle on the dusty Persian rug. Ivy lit a cluster of candles, their flickering flames casting eerie shadows on the peeling wallpaper. The room seemed to darken, the storm outside growing fiercer. Ivy opened the book, her fingers trembling slightly as she flipped to a page adorned with intricate symbols. She began to chant in a language none of them recognized. The temperature in the room plummeted. The candles sputtered, but did not go out. The floor creaked as if unseen feet were treading across it. Then, a voice not Ivy's spoke the final words of the incantation. It was low, guttural, and filled with malice. The friends froze, their eyes darting around the room. Suddenly, the chandelier above them swung violently. One of the candles toppled, its flame snuffed out. A chill swept through the group. Evelyn gasped, clutching her chest as if something unseen had brushed against her. "Who's there?" Lucas demanded, his voice shaking. The woman from the painting, her form faintly translucent, stood in the doorway. Her eyes burned with an unnatural light. "You have called us," she said, her voice a whisper that carried the weight of centuries. "Now you will pay." Before they could react, she vanished, but her presence remained, oppressive and suffocating. Damien suddenly clutched his head, his eyes rolling back. When he looked at the others again, his voice was not his own, it was hers. "You should not have disturbed us." Lucas grabbed Damien, shaking him violently. "Snap out of it." But Damien's lips twisted into a cruel smile. His strength was otherworldly as he hurled Lucas across the room. Ivy screamed, fumbling with the book, but the pages flipped wildly on their own. Claire's voice cut through the chaos. "We need to end this. We need to close the circle." Ivy's hands shook as she tried to find the reversal spell. Damien, or the entity controlling him, lunged at her, but Evelyn threw a candlestick, striking him just long enough to knock him off balance. "Here," Ivy shouted, finding the page. She read the incantation, her voice trembling but firm. The air vibrated with a high-pitched hum, and Damien collapsed to the floor, gasping for air as the spirit left his body. For a moment, all was silent. "Is it over?" Evelyn whispered. The answer came in the form of a distant, ghostly laugh. Hours later, they found themselves at the estate's overgrown cemetery, drawn there by an unseen force. The moon hung low, casting pale light on the cracked headstones. One grave stood apart from the rest, marked by a statue of the woman from the painting. "Why are we here?" Claire asked, her voice barely audible. "We need to finish it," Ivy said, though even she wasn't sure what that meant. As they approached the grave, the ground beneath them shifted. Ivy fell to her knees, clawing at the dirt, compelled by something she couldn't explain. The others tried to pull her back, but she was too strong. She unearthed a small wooden box, its surface carved with the same symbols from the book. "Don't open it," Lucas warned. But it was too late. Ivy lifted the lid. Inside was a black, writhing mist that shot into the air, enveloping them. The last thing they heard was the woman's voice, echoing in their minds. "You are ours now." When the townsfolk came to investigate the manor days later, they found no trace of the friends. But the painting above the fireplace had changed. 5 new faces stared out from the canvas, their expressions frozen in silent screams.